My name is Timshine Ernst and welcome back to Footsteps the channel. Thank you very much for checking this video out. I appreciate it. So today it's actually a video that continues from a video that I made when I started this channel about purpose, and the response that I got was that you're still not saying anything. Tell us more about purpose, because we really want to find our purpose, but it's just a struggle. So I thought, you know what, let me do a follow-up video and let's see if this one can help. If it doesn't help, guys, we'll keep trying until we get to a place where we all happy that we got this thing right. So I want to apologize to everyone who's been following me and wondering, okay, where did she disappear to? You know what, guys, life just got so busy. There was a lot happening in my life and it was just impossible for me to literally just sit down and record. But I think now I'm back to normal, my schedule is back to normal, and you should be expecting more videos from me. Thanks for sticking around, and now let's get into it. So today we're basically talking about a very famous scripture in the Bible where Jesus actually was chilling with his disciples, trying to get some rest, and all of a sudden they were surrounded by many people who were with them, and Jesus realized that these people are actually very hungry. Let's give them something to eat. And only to find out that they only have 2 fish and 5 loaves. These people were like 5,000 in number, and it was impossible in humans' eyes to see that they can be fed with 5 loaves, with 2 fish and 5 loaves. But Jesus, being Jesus, made it happen. And you're wondering, so where does my purpose come into that? Please keep on watching. I'm gonna be quick and hope that this clears the air. Reading from Matthew 6 from verse 30. It says that, meanwhile, the disciples gathered around Jesus and brought him news of all they had done and taught. And he said to them, "Come with me privately to a solitary place, and let us rest for a while." For many people were coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. So I'm just going to dwell on the fact that he said, "Come to me to a solitary place, and let us rest for a while." And that is usually where your purpose finds you, where you're finding that, okay, I'm actually now minding my own business, chilling, not doing anything, and then boom, you realize that there's actually something is gonna happen that's gonna make you step into what you're supposed to do with your life. And so it says that, so they went away in a boat by themselves to a solitary place, but many people saw them leaving and recognized them, and they ran together on foot from all towns and arrived before them. And when Jesus stepped ashore and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. So that is where your purpose finds you, where you're thinking, okay, I'm actually going to a place of rest, I'm minding my own business, I'm doing my own life, and then compassion hits you. That is where you know, okay, now I've been hit by my purpose. For me, I usually say this, that I'm very passionate about people in the streets, because I believe that their lives can be changed. So that was Jesus with these people. He saw that, you know what, these people, I've got so much sympathy for them. He feels their remorse. He wants to change their situation. That is where your purpose comes in. So first of all, I mentioned that, you know what, you don't have to work hard to find it. When you're in a place of rest, that is where it's going to hit you, where a situation is going to come, and you're going to realize, this is what I need to do. This is where I need to make change in the world. So he was hit by a lot of compassion because they were all around him. And by now the hour was already late. So the disciples came to Jesus and said, "This is a desolate place, and the hour is already late. Dismiss the crowd so they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." So that is where your purpose differs for other people. You know, I'm giving an example with me and people in the streets. Someone just looks at them and says, you know what, ah man, these people, they smoke nyaope, this is what they make themselves to be. And for me, I look at them and I'm like, ish, no, I feel like we can do something to change their situations. I feel like these people can be changed, or their lives can change for the better. So that's the difference between compassion and other people who are outside what your passion is driving you to do. So just be careful of those people, and be careful that you don't lose your purpose because of what other people are saying. Some people are very complacent, saying, you know what, people just go around sleeping around and they get HIV. And someone is sitting in a corner, is like, you know what, I really want to make the change in the world. I want to find that cure for HIV. That person could be you, that could be your purpose. So just be careful. Just look for that thing that you're very passionate about, something that really hits home, but be careful that you don't get strayed away from that thing because of what other people are saying. So this is what Jesus said. The Bible says that, but Jesus told them, you give them something to eat. These people are like, no, let them go buy themselves something to eat. Jesus was like, no, you make a plan for them. And it looks like a very impossible situation at that moment. And they asked him, should we go out and spend 200 denarii to give all of them bread to eat? So they're like, so you want us to like use all our money to give these people something to eat? And Jesus was coming from a point of compassion that, you know what, it's possible, let's do something, And Jesus said to them, you know what, no, don't go spend all your money. So now this is where I want us to focus on. It says, go and see how many loaves you have. So this is where you step into walking into your purpose. Okay, you find that thing that you're very compassionate about, right? Something that keeps you awake at night, that change that you want to see in the world, and you come in, you start with what you have. He says, go and see how many loaves you have. And you know what, you just go and see, okay, what do I have that I can start? For me, when I started Footsteps, I literally just wanted to start a blog and start writing. Honestly, I was just wanting to write, to challenge people's minds about common things that people literally take for granted, things that people don't want to talk about, and things that actually people are being bound by. That's all that I wanted to do. And all I knew was that, you know what, I can write. I went and I actually started a free WordPress blog, but when the passion grew deeper, I realized that I wanted my blog to be personalized. That's when I went and I blog. That's when I went and I bought Footsteps online. So literally, you just start with what you have. I'll continue to say, and after checking, they said 5 and 2 fish. You should see how it's written. It's like 5 loaves and 2 fish. That's how funny the situation was. Like, okay, what are we gonna do with 5 loaves and 2 fish with all those people? It's not even enough for the 12 of us, so how much more all those people? And that's where Jesus wants you, where the situation is too bigger than you. Even just putting Jesus aside, guys, when it's a dream and it's something that you need to do, it must be bigger than you. Then you know it's your purpose. It must be bigger than you. You must look at it and just be like, you know what, this is impossible. That's where you know that you're gonna be pushed, and that's where you're gonna make a change. If you look at something and it's very possible, trust me, you're not gonna make much change in those people's lives, and even in that situation, you're not gonna do much. So then Jesus directed them to have the people sit down in groups on the green grass. They had to like mention green grass, and they sat down in groups of hundreds and 50s, not in groups of 10 and 5, like you can like just like maybe share the 5 loaves amongst just one group. No, he said that in groups of hundreds and 50s. Already even these groups are so huge, so you're just wondering, okay, this situation is just like getting worse. And He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, looking up to heaven. Jesus spoke a blessing and broke the loaves. So this is where now we're gonna dwell. That you know what? He looked up to heaven and he spoke a blessing and he broke the loaves. So when it's your purpose, you know that it's bigger than you. The first person that now you go to and say, you know what, God, like, you told me about this idea, it's so huge, take over. Like, can we just have that vertical connection where now you take over, because this is huge. And after that, after he looked to heaven, he blessed it. His confession changed. His mindset changed about it. He blessed it. He said that, you know what, now this is going to be a blessing to other people. So that particular dream that you have, or that particular thing that is very close to your heart and it's huge, you need to just say that, God, I trust you with it. Help me with it and bless it for me. And then afterwards, what he did, he started working. He started breaking the bread and giving it to them. Then he gave them, so he broke the loaves and then he gave them to his disciples to set before the people. And he divided the 2 fish amongst them all, guys. I don't think the fish we're talking about is sharks or whales. I believe that he's talking about normal fish, you know. And he broke the fish. He was taking it and breaking it and trusting that this fish is gonna bless all these people. And that is what you must do with whatever you have at the moment. For me, I was just saying that, you know what, I'm starting this blog, God, let it just be, whoever reads it, let them read it, and whoever doesn't, you know what, it's not their thing, let them not read. And that is what God is all about concerning you and your purpose. You know what, just use whatever you have at the moment and start there. And the Bible says that all these people started eating and they were satisfied, which is the operative word in this verse. It says that they were satisfied, and that is what your purpose is doing. It's meant to bring satisfaction. It's meant to bring change to people's lives. These people moved from a point of being hungry to a point of being satisfied with just 2 fish and 5 loaves. Like, isn't it just too amazing and too good to be true? Well, this is the Bible. We know that it's true. So it says that they were satisfied, and now the disciples started picking up the 12 baskets of bread, of crumbs around them. And when we were picking up the crumbs were actually bigger than the bread that was broken, which is like, oh wow, what? So that is what your purpose is all about. When you start out small with what you have. But at the end of the day, when you look back, you'll realize that, oh wow, actually, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than what I thought it was. When I started Footsteps, it was just a blog. Now, God just kept inspiring Footsteps to be so much more than a blog. It became a YouTube channel now that you're watching, and now He's inspired me to do like events for Footsteps, and we're having actually our prayer retreat coming up in January. So it literally just takes you saying that, you know what, I've got this, God. He's calling me to touch your people. This is what I have. Start here. When He blesses it, it's gonna shock you, and the impact that it's gonna have on people, it's gonna be so amazing. You will just see that this is bigger than you. This is greater than you. And you know what, the Bible just finishes the story with, and there were 5,000 men who had eaten the loaves. So the numbers don't balance. This is not accounting. The debit and the credit don't balance in this case. Sorry, I'm an accountant, so that's where it comes in, the debit and the credit. But basically, that's what happened. You just see, Corey, your purpose is bigger than you. So from this day onwards, I'm just saying that trust God with whatever you are compassionate on. The people that you know what, touch your heart, the situation that you just want to change. Some of you is education in the rural areas. Some of you is good healthcare system. Some of you is making sure that everyone is touched by the technological advances in our country and in the world. Some of you is basically just, you know what, making sure that poverty is fully alleviated in the world. You know your place of passion, and sometimes you look at your pocket and all you have is 2 rands. You know what, that 2 rands can go very far. Give it to someone who needs it. Next month, give it them again until God blesses you. When you give him whatever you have in your pocket, he blesses it. It becomes much, it becomes greater, and you will be shocked at what you will be doing. When one day you go and you pick up the crumbs, you get the numbers, you see how many people you've actually had an effect on, you will be shocked. So with that said, you know what guys, it's time to start. Time does not await you. Don't waste your days, don't waste your time, just start. Start with what you have, and trust me, God will bless it. Bye bye. Remember to subscribe down below. It's very important for you to subscribe because it tells me that you want to see my videos. I must keep making those videos. And secondly, you're just sustaining my channel guys, because nothing is from hello. Alright, so thank you and bye bye.